Hello, good morning. I see thumbs up. Oh, that was you guys. I was like, you guys are giving me thumbs up already. I love y'all. Hey, Allison and Amanda, Barb and Jimmy, Chris, welcome. Let us know in the chat how long you've been a member of TechSoup. We always like to know this kind of like, I don't know, it's fun to see how many people have been with us for 12 years and now they're just getting new member orientation, which is, I think is fantastic. I think it's genius. So let us know in the chat. Amanda, if I didn't say hello, hello, Chris and Elder Spirit Community, welcome. Jimmy, welcome, welcome. I'm looking for the chat. This also lets me know that it's working. Oh, thank you, Amari, for saying hello to the people. Hi, Barb, if I didn't say hello to you, you guys are coming in. And so now the names, they usually come in alphabetical order. So now it just kind of bunches together. Chris, welcome. All right. Jimmy, 3 months. I love it. This is good. This is good,
Hmm.
Jimmy. You getting 20 years for Bob. Bob, do you work for TechSoup? You've been here 20 years. Now we have a Bob that works for TechSoup. So he may have been here that long. That's why I said that. So hi, Chris. Been here 2 years. Guys, we're gonna start in less than a minute and a half. Thank you for letting us know how long you've been a member of TechSoup. Linda, 2 month-ish. We'll take you. We like that. Thank you so much for joining New Member Orientation. This is so good that you guys are coming. And again, same with Bob, 20
Yeah.
years, and now he's going to see things and hear things that he hadn't probably known before about TechSoup. So we love these new member
Mhm.
orientations. Hi,
Yeah.
Chris, 3 years. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. So, guys, we're going to start in like 30 seconds. Chris, another Chris with the C, 5 months. Don't work, spending the work in Pennsylvania, just a refresher. I don't know what that meant, but the administrator, I don't know. But hi, Amanda. You've been a member here 3 months. Welcome. So we have a lot of people who've been here for around 90 days. This is so good. So that lets us know that the new member orientation emails are getting to you. And so you found it valuable to be here. Spreading the word. Yay! Ooh, thank you so much for spreading the word. We love when people spread the word. We spread the word too, but we love it when you do it because we know you find value in it. So thank you so very much. All right, guys. It's almost the top of the hour. There it is. Welcome to TechSoup. This is new member orientation, and we hope to answer your questions for you today. I'm going to show you how you can engage on the next slide. My name is Aretha Symes. I'm the webinar producer here, so you'll probably see me quite often. So get used to it. You are on mute, of course. If you need the closed caption, just tap on the CC button, and they've made it available in multiple languages. And so you can have it in Spanish if you'd like. You're going to get the recording and the slides probably tomorrow morning. So we would love if you would put your questions in the Q&A so we can just focus on your questions. But you can also put them in the chat. I'm going to move out the way and turn this over to Nick Finn. He's the head global growth marketing. He has more titles than that. That's just a couple of titles. But Nick, I'm looking forward to this webinar. Over to you.
Well, thanks, Aretha. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Nick Finn. I'm the head of global growth marketing at TechSoup, which really means just talking to lots of people about what technology is available for their nonprofit, why they might want to use it. You've already met my wonderful colleague, Aretha Simons. We're also joined today by Kelly Garrett from the Client Services Group and Amari Magaha. You may hear both of them from both of them in the chat if you ask questions. And please feel free to do exactly that. If you do have questions about any of the topics that I cover during the presentation, chat is a great place to start getting those answers. At TechSoup, as a nonprofit ourselves, we're often in the position of hacking technology a little bit. I think everybody on this call is probably familiar with that. And in that spirit today, I'm actually not going to go full screen mode with the slideshow because I want to pop back and forth between the slides and then the live TechSoup site itself to show you a few things there. So let's start with the top question of what exactly is TechSoup? Well, we are a nonprofit, first and foremost, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have more than 400,000 members around the world. who are nonprofits or non-governmental organizations in their own right. All of them interested in working with TechSoup on technology, acquiring it, using it properly, being careful of the pitfalls it can present. Um, our mission is to work with other nonprofits who are working with technology to build an equitable planet. And this is important to bring up because we have two perspectives here. We do believe technology itself is a powerful, powerful tool, and in the hands of nonprofits who are inspired to create change, it can do amazing things. But we also believe that the end goal needs to be the building of an equitable planet. That it's not enough to simply be a tech-forward organization, but that indeed that we all have a mutual common goal of building a better world and using technology to get there. We host the world's best known catalog of technology products just for nonprofits with from major brands like Microsoft, Dell, Intuit, Adobe, and many more. And we have grown a lot in the last several years into offering numerous add-on technology services to help nonprofits use and manage their technology stack. We create courses, webinars, and training for nonprofit staff around technology issues. And we also create grant-based programming around issues like digital resilience, online disinformation, and cybersecurity. And through all of this, we really do believe that it's important that nonprofits are able to have their own perspective within the technology market. So many of these large technology creators are huge corporations now processing billions of dollars in many, many cases, right? And organizations of that size have a specific thing that they're trying to accomplish, right? And we think that nonprofits have their own thing that they're trying to accomplish, and that technology is the tool we can use to get there. But our orientation is not profit, it is to do good. How does it work for your nonprofit to work with TechSoup? Well, number one, you have to join TechSoup by creating an account and submitting your tax documentation. And why do you need to do this? It's because many of the offers that we have, especially those in the online catalog that are from other brands, these are products intended only for nonprofit use. And so we need to be able to confirm or validate that an organization is indeed a valid nonprofit with the appropriate tax paperwork filed. So once you've submitted that and TechSoup is able to validate you, you must choose your TechSoup membership level. There are two levels, and we'll talk about those in a minute. And then finally, once that process is finished, your nonprofit can begin using the catalog of offers, services, and resources for nonprofits. So the takeaway here really is just that your nonprofit needs a TechSoup membership to work with us, and it's how we can bring the most value to the table and support you the most is once you are a member. So how do you do it? Real quick, top right-hand corner of TechSoup.org, there is the login button. If you're already a TechSoup member, and for instance, Bob, I can see that you are, but other folks here may not be at all. There is the join button. Click it, follow the prompts, submit your tax documentation. It's fairly easy. Now, the two membership levels that I mentioned earlier are currently named DIY and Quad. DIY, there is no cost to join TechSoup. It is a $0 fee. It gives you basic access to the TechSoup online catalog and some content that we make available on the public-facing blog, right? So it is the do-it-yourself level of TechSoup, where you already know what you need from the catalog. Just go and do it and be done. But there is also a far deeper level of engagement with TechSoup that many nonprofits choose. It's called Quad. It's $200 a year. Quad gives you a whole range of access to technology expertise within an online community that TechSoup has built, where nonprofits from across the United States come together and they discuss the technology issues that they're struggling with. They help each other with processes and tools that have helped them solve specific problems. You get access to expert guidance from TechSoup staff and outside consultants, all there to try to help you make the best decisions about technology. And in today's marketplace, we know there are a million technology products out there that your nonprofit could acquire. The question becomes now, how do you make the things you already have work better? And how do you really choose the things that are going to help you, not just get in the way because you don't know how to implement them? They cost too much. They don't necessarily solve the problem you thought they would. So the decision making that goes into technology procurement and acquisition is what Quad can be extremely helpful with. All right, moving on to the next slide. Let's now talk about the product catalog from TechSoup and what nonprofits can find in there that can help them with their operations and whatever their mission might be in pursuit of. And just to call out in this screenshot here, there in the top navigation is the products dropdown. I'm going to touch on a few key ones here. The first one is Microsoft, that TechSoup has had a long-standing relationship with. And in our earliest days, Microsoft was one of the corporations that really encouraged TechSoup to dream big about the role it could play supporting nonprofits in the US and around the world with technology. I want to go now to the live site and talk a little bit about the Microsoft products that are available to nonprofits here. So here at the very top, as you can see right off the bat, we do offer Microsoft Copilot. That's the AI agent. These are $216 a year. We also offer Office 365 Enterprise subscriptions. This is the suite of, Office products that you are used to seeing from Microsoft Word, Excel, things like that. There's a more comprehensive version, Microsoft 365 nonprofit cloud subscriptions. That is what I think most nonprofits steer towards here. And then from there are a host of other Microsoft applications and tools available through TechSoup. We do have old versions of Office for Mac and Office Standard, meaning that they are donated on-premises versions. Um, we have access to Windows 11, also Windows 10. Developer tools include Visual Studio. We also have access to Microsoft Azure, Dynamics CRM. There are specialized offers and also for nonprofits that actually offer computer labs for educational purposes, for instance, that are available from Microsoft through TechSoup. A whole host of tools here available to nonprofits. If your nonprofit is a heavy Microsoft user and you're an IT procurement person who's looking at a resource, you probably already know about this, but if not, and you're new to TechSoup, then I encourage you to take a look at the Microsoft page available at TechSoup.org/Microsoft. Also, under the products dropdown, it's the first item that you can find there. Moving on, the next brand I want to talk about is Adobe, which I'm sure to everybody on this call should be a familiar brand. Adobe offers through TechSoup two items at the moment. There's the Adobe Creative Cloud for Individuals Pro Plan. It's a 1-year membership. And for your $5 admin fee to TechSoup, you get access to Adobe's discounted rate for nonprofits. And I want to call these discounted rates are fairly common in the TechSoup catalog. But good to know up front exactly what it is that you're signing up for. So in this case, you're paying a small admin fee to TechSoup, and that admin fee grants you access to a much cheaper rate on Creative Cloud from Adobe itself, right? And then the second Adobe offer in the catalog right now is Photoshop Elements 2025. This is last year's version, but available through TechSoup as well. If you're a nonprofit communications professional, perhaps a designer, you work in communications, anything to do with like laying out a website, or you've got to produce some print materials, the Adobe Creative Cloud package of applications, like that's a, you know, it is the industry standard for that kind of work these days. Not that there aren't many other tools that also do those things, but Creative Cloud is ubiquitous in the field. Moving on from Adobe, Intuit QuickBooks, in particular, Intuit QuickBooks Online is a perennial favorite for nonprofits. And I'm talking about these two right here on the TechSoup.org site. Um, this is a 1-year subscription for 5 users. And then the other application here, QuickBooks Online Advanced, is for 25 users. These are really the standout finance packages that we have, or accounting packages that we have for nonprofits on the TechSoup.org site. And from my view, if you were starting a new nonprofit, perhaps the first thing you get is a computer, but maybe the second thing you get is Intuit QuickBooks so that you can make sure that you instantly begin tracking your finances properly and focus on the millions of other things that you're going to have to address as you build up your new nonprofit. Right. Now, for a long time, folks have thought of tech, but indeed, over the years, we've built up a wonderful catalog of hardware offers for nonprofits as well. And so I want to talk about some of those now. Going again to the live site, there are a number of categories of hardware items available through TechSoup, including mobile, brand new desktops and laptops. These are from brands like HP and Dell and others. We have all sorts of monitors here. We have a great line of networking equipment. If your nonprofit uses Cisco in particular, TechSoup is the place to get Cisco for nonprofits. And we do a very robust business with Cisco networking hardware. Security cameras, if you need that kind of thing. All sorts of accessories, printers as well. I think all from HP. There may be a few others in there as well. Um, Smaller items for your office, etc. We even have some of the MetaQuest virtual reality headsets, although knowing recently that Meta has kind of pivoted more in the direction of AI than VR, but nevertheless, we do have these headsets available. And then another really exciting part of the hardware offers available through TechSoup is in this next tab, which we call at the moment Green Technology Products for Nonprofits. And what this really is the catalog of refurbished hardware that's available through TechSoup. And you get to the refurbished hardware by going to this category drop down here and clicking on Green Technology. Refurbished hardware is something that TechSoup was actually a pioneer in putting in the marketplace because in the early days of hardware development, it was pretty common for a computer that was maybe even only 2 years old to just get thrown out as trash because the whole market was moving so fast. Chip capacity and memory capacity doubling every year or something like that. The rate of change was exponential, and it just also meant that the rate of obsolescence was quite fast. But nevertheless, it seemed like there was a better way to handle some of this e-waste, and in fact, a lot of it might actually still be perfectly usable. And so various refurbishers have sprung up over the years whose work it is to take these, discarded hardware products, or in most cases donated or, bought extremely cheaply. They wipe the drives, they make sure that the unit itself actually is functional, can handle the modern requirements of a cloud connected computer with enough processing speed and memory to really deal with what it needs to deal with. In any case, those units which are no longer brand new, but they're used, but still perfectly capable and available at a much lower price point than brand new hardware from these big major brands. And in any case, TechSoup is certainly not the only place offering refurbished hardware, but we were one of the early pioneers saying like we really needed to focus on that and bring that to the market. And so we're always excited when nonprofits choose to go the route of refurbished hardware. And again, really, it is a place where you can make hardware more accessible and more affordable, save those valuable technology budget dollars, use them on other things. Every cent that you save is going to help you along the way. Now, moving on from hardware, as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that we've come to really understand about the nonprofit sector, although this is really true across maybe all business sectors, is that no longer is the acquisition of technology the biggest problem. There's a million technology options available to you out there. Now, the question really is, how do you manage it all? Certainly, how do you choose it on the front end, but how do you manage the things that you have? Because technology can be quite expensive. And so when it is, you need to make sure you're extracting the full value from the technology that you have. Otherwise, the question of whether it's really worth having it becomes worth debate, right? If you can't make something work for you and do the thing that you need it to solve the problem you need it to solve, well, then that might not be the right product. So, in response to that kind of thinking and the need for more information, TechSoup has developed a series of services available to nonprofits to help you manage your technology stack. And so I'm going to go now again to the live site and talk about what some of those services are. So first of all, here on the live site, if you go up to the top nav, there's the services drop down here, just to see quickly what this gives you, if I can get it to drop down here. There's an overview page, which is what we're looking at right now, and then some direct links to some specific services that are the most commonly requested. If you're interested in taking a look at all of this in greater detail, just go to TechSoup.org, start tooling around there. You will see all sorts of things. Here are the categories of service as currently organized in terms of helping you to think about what your nonprofit might need help with. So, obviously, accounting and QuickBooks services, since I've already talked about Intuit QuickBooks, a natural early place for nonprofits to start. Lots of nonprofits are trying to understand how they should be using AI, how to get started. And so we provide support services for that. And these services, by the way, I should say, these are all provided by TechSoup partners, right? We partner with all sorts of organizations and firms beyond TechSoup's own immediate walls to support nonprofits with these services, right? If your nonprofit is looking at implementing a CRM, you might check out the CRM services for nonprofits. Broadly, cybersecurity is a huge issue because of the cost associated with having problems and the cost associated of having appropriate security in place in the first place. Often website backends are not updated with the latest patches. WordPress is an example that I often hear talked about there. It can be very secure as long as you keep it updated. But there is so much nefarious code and nefarious actors out there right now that it is really important to take cybersecurity for your nonprofit very, very seriously. Um, Plenty of nonprofits feel like they could always do better with their digital marketing and social media. And we also provide support for nonprofits who are trying to work with Google AdWords, who are trying to write grants. We have an IT help desk service, which is available to nonprofits who need help troubleshooting a specific piece of technology. And then I want to highlight this one specifically. Managed IT services is a very, very robust line of business with nonprofits. It is to help you manage your broad technology stack. So if you just don't have that person on staff who's going to be able to do that, instead of parsing out your technology stack to several different vendors, managed IT services are designed to help you bring that all to one place and get help from one place, managing all your technology. Certainly, if you're implementing Microsoft, especially backend systems, maybe trying to migrate to a new Microsoft 365 license or something like that, we have services designed to help you with that. Some project management services as well. And then finally, as I say, I've never met a nonprofit yet who thinks that their website is all it could be. Everybody's always planning what they're going to do next with it, trying to understand why it's not doing the thing that they want it to do, struggling with whatever the process it is to update content, change the look and feel, swap out a photo, what have you. And so as you think about what you want your website to be doing, and whether a broad upgrade to the back end is necessary. You can work with TechSoup partners to understand what you could do there and change your website and bring it into whatever it is that you think it should be that it's not right now. Now, I'm going to come back to the main presentation here. That was a dizzying array of products and services available to nonprofits through TechSoup. And I'm sorry if it seemed like too much to track all in one go, but I think the main thing that I want to emphasize is there's a lot available through TechSoup to help your nonprofit with tech. But everybody's in a different place, which is why there's so many different products and services available through the organization. With that now, I'm going to come to Kelly Garrett, who's been at TechSoup a long time as well and knows probably deeper details on TechSoup's product lineup than I do, and can really help guide you through the process of how you manage your relationship with TechSoup itself, and get the most out of your TechSoup membership.
Thank you so much, Nick, and welcome everyone. I'm gonna actually leave my face off and just have my picture there just to ensure that you can hear me and I don't have any connection stuff, so I can get us going. So, just want to thank you all for being here. This is a great webinar to get started. A lot of the questions that we hear in client services, aka customer service, we address here in this webinar. So, a really good recording and slide deck to save when we email it to you later. And you guys have been asking great questions in the chat and the Q&A. I think we've gotten a lot of them. So, if you have any more, keep pinging them in, and Amari will keep answering you while I am working on showing you some stuff. So, first things first that I always like to show our members is how you can self-serve by ordering products and learning more about the products or the services that you're interested in. Pretty much all the information we've been provided by the partner who created the offer. So, Intuit creates and offers QuickBooks Online, Adobe creates and offers the Creative Cloud for individuals. They'll give us the information about their products and their offers. And for the most part, the products are exactly the same as the ones on the retail market. Partners are not creating new nonprofit products. They're just offering the product they already have created at a more reduced rate usually. So QuickBooks Online is the one that I usually like to show as the example for a product page. This is one of our most popular products. I've had a lot of questions in here already about this. So when you go to the catalog, you can either type in QuickBooks Online, or you can use the donor or company drop down to navigate to Intuit. Once you see the offer that you're interested in, you're going to click on that and it's going to load what's called the offer page or the product page. And this is where all that information I was talking about that we get from the partner is listed. And it is divided into 3 different tabs on the product page, along with some information above those tabs that you'll always want to make sure you're thoroughly reviewing before you request the product. Most products and services cannot be refunded or exchanged for any reason, unless, of course, the keys doesn't work or something along those lines. If it's something on our end or the partner's end, of course we'll honor that. But if you just bought something because you thought it looked interesting and you decide you didn't need it, that's not going to be a reason for a refund a lot of the time. So always recommend thoroughly reading all of this, contacting the partner to confirm functionality stuff, or reaching out to customer service at TechSoup and seeing if you can get your answers, if this stuff is not answering everything you need to know before you request the product. On this page, always say start with, at the top where there's a product name. Um, Looking at the product name is always important. Some of our products do call out there an access to a discounted rate, which means that when you request it, you pay TechSoup an admin fee, and then you're going to pay the partner an discounted rate directly to them. And a lot of folks miss that in the title. So it's something I really like to highlight, that you really want to read what the title of the product name is to ensure you're seeing what the whole offer is. Below that is where you're going to see, is this a cloud product? Is it an on-premises, aka a desktop product? What systems does it work on? Is it PC? Is it Mac? Is it everything? Who was the donor partner or the corporate partner? Things along those lines. Below that, you will see an orange button. If you're logged in, you will see add to cart. If you don't see it, if you just see log in, you just need to log in to your TechSoup account. And as long as you have an organization account added to your member account, you will be able to move forward with checking out and adding it to your cart and all of that. So next slide, please. Perfect. So when you're on this page, as I mentioned, there's 3 tabs of information. You want to make sure that you're clicking through all those tabs because a lot of times that middle tab either has subscription information, like how do I renew the product, or, can existing subscribers, access this discounted rate, things like that. Some of our products are automatically renewed every year. For example, QuickBooks Online, you're going to see an automatic renewal pop up once a year, 30 days before it's due, and you're going to be required to pay that to TechSoup to continue using the subscription. You always want to check these pages because this is an annual subscription, which is called out on that middle tab. But if you go and check some of the other subscription products we have out there, we do have some services that are monthly subscriptions. So you'll have a monthly charge. So again, one of the reasons why it's very important to go through all 3 of these tabs. Most of the questions you'll have about renewals, subscription, restrictions, things like that are going to be detailed on here. Awesome. Next slide, please. So, say you have questions that are not getting answered on that product page. The next place I recommend going before reaching out to customer service is checking out our TechSoup support articles, which you access by going to the help option in the top right corner. It's next to where you log in, or if you're already logged in, you'll see a little circle with an icon of a person. So it's going to be the help button directly next to it. And you'll want to grab that TechSoup support option from the drop-down list. You should see that banner everywhere on TechSoup.org. And I do want to call out this TechSoup website and this support site are specific to United States members. We are currently building out the TechSoup support articles for other countries. TechSoup Canada, for example, has this support site. Other websites, you'll see FAQs. So it is something just to call out that if you are not a United States-based organization, this is not the website for you. You want to make sure that you are going to the global site for your specific country or region. So next slide, please. Once you go into TechSoup support, we will see a list of options for product support. You'll see Microsoft support, since that's a big topic. Lots of things can happen with Microsoft stuff. And then general support. So that's where you'll start out. You also have the option to search above it. And then you'll see below it promoted articles. So once again, this is for United States members, as was the previous website. So you just want to make sure that when you're looking at this information, you're in the right spot. So next slide, please. Perfect. So say you've gone in, you've looked at TechSoup support. I've put a lot of URLs to the support articles that are answering questions that I'm seeing coming into the chat and into our Q&A section. So say you've looked at the product page, say you've looked at TechSoup support, and you're just not getting the answer to your support needs. What you have the option of for next is we do have customer service, which you access our live chat to get in touch with us, or you're welcome to post in our community forums, and we'll get back to you within 3 to 5 business days. I'm usually the one lurking in our forums, keeping an eye out for that stuff. So always a great backup if you're having issues with our live chat. So customer service is where you'll want to go for account management. You're going to want to look at your eligibility, for eligibility questions. We can help you navigate our website, check out the different resources we have available, all that kind of stuff. What customer service isn't equipped to do is provide in-depth IT support. So download and installation, activation support. My product isn't working the way I thought it was supposed to be. My computer crashed. That's a little bit outside the scope of what we're able to do. You don't want me helping you with your computer issues. The most I could give you is turn it off and turn it back on. So the services that Nick went over are a really great option when you're having IT issues. And we have quite a few things that are related to download and installation. And we have ones that are specific to certain products. We have a whole bunch of QuickBooks Online services. We have a whole bunch of Microsoft support services, things like that. So I do highly recommend checking out those services and solutions to see if maybe that is the remote support that you're going to want and need. We also have a customer success team. This is a team that supports our quad members, as Nick went over. So they are more than happy to talk to you about, what products you need. If you're trying to put together a really large order and need an official quote, things like that, customer success can assist you with. And you'll just reach out to customer service and we can always get you connected to them if needed. So these are kind of the three spheres of support that you have: customer service for basic how-tos, customer success if you want some quotes, consultations, help getting signed up as a quad member. And then once you're a quad member, they provide some more support. And then services and solutions are available for IT support and things like that. Next slide, please. So, contacting TechSoup customer service, something I kind of just touched on there. There's a couple different options. We used to have a phone line. We used to have an email alias that we promoted. At this point, as a nonprofit ourselves, and with this crazy world that is out there, we've focused our resources to live chat support, and you do get connected with a real person on our live chat. You'll start off by having a virtual assistant that tries to help answer your questions, but you are able to actually get in touch with someone. And the two articles I highlight here is the first one has a screenshot guide that walks you through accessing that live chat. And the second article is walking you through troubleshooting. Typically, when we hear from a member saying they don't see our help bubble or they can't get connected to our live chat, it has to do with your security settings in your browser and your pop-up window blockers. So you really want to make sure that you're clearing cache and cookies, you're accepting cookies for our website, all of that good stuff to make sure that your browser is loading our widget, which is the help bubble, and getting you connected to that live chat. If there is any live chat outages where it's offline for some reason, either because we're, for example, on Monday, we were closed for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, or, sometimes system things happen. We will absolutely put a note of that in these articles I have here, letting you know that there is an issue. So just want to call out that you want to make sure that you're checking there. And if there's no issue announced, then it's most likely something going on in your settings. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, there's that help bubble. You'll be connected with a virtual AI assistant that will try to help you answer your questions. We are always working on improving that AI assistant, but we do recognize that folks want to talk to a real live person. So if you're getting to that chat and you want to talk to someone, in the articles, there's a longer list, but we do have terms and phrases. You can pop into that live chat and it will prompt you to provide your information to join the chat queue to talk to a TechSoup representative. So you can absolutely talk to a real person. That's one of the misconceptions I hear all the time. I don't want to talk to a bot. Don't worry. We're here for you. We want to help you. It just might take a little bit of time since, especially at the beginning of the year, we have a big rush of registrations, communications, getting your organization going for the year. So we just ask for patience and hang in there. If there's long wait times with our live chats, we go as fast as we can. Perfect. Next slide, please. Last but not least is, say you can't get in touch with that live chat. You've tried everything. You're convinced it's all been done. We do have our community forums as a backup. There is a TechSoup program help forums thread that you can post a new thread to. You can also reply to ones you seem to have the same issue. And one of us will get in touch with you within a couple business days. We do keep an eye on this just in case. It's also where we'll make some announcements about some things in our promoted forums posts. And there's some other great ones in there too. Like if you want to connect with other nonprofits and ask them, hey, what are you using for your CRM? This is a great place to go and have that conversation. We also have a wish list there that you can post, and we do periodically check that and see if there's anything we can do to move a relationship forward with some other company out there. No guarantee you'll get your wish list item, but we always love hearing from you guys what you are interested in requesting and what would help your nonprofit, because it will probably help other nonprofits out there. So just want to call out there is this backup in the forums in case you ever are having trouble getting in touch with us. Perfect. And I believe that is my last slide, Nick. It does look like we have quite a few QA, some questions and stuff like that. So I can always take a minute to talk to that if needed.
Well, as Kelly just said, we've got a number of questions in the Q&A, and we're going to try to get all of these answered. This marks the end of the formal webinar, but if folks are waiting for an answer to a question that you've asked in chat, or Kelly, if you want to talk out loud some more because you see several people asking the same question, what we generally do is now leave this open for the next 10 minutes or so to get those questions answered. Of course, if you've heard everything you need to hear and you've got millions of other things you need to get done today, please, also feel free to drop. But if you want to stick around for any more of the Q&A here, I welcome you to do that. I'm going to take my screen share down at this point. But as I say, we'll leave the chat and the audio feed open so that we can answer more of these questions. Thanks, everybody, for coming today. We really appreciate your time, and we also really appreciate your work in whatever community you're working in. Being a nonprofit these days is not easy. And we know that every day you get up to make a difference in your community, it really matters, and we want to support you in that process. So thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Nick. I think the number one question I've been seeing from everybody is how do I get QuickBooks Online and how do I migrate my data? So I do want to call out that the QuickBooks Online products are not designed for existing QuickBooks Online users or QuickBooks users. However, you can still access the donated rate that you get, which is like it's $80 a year for Plus and it's $170 a year for Advanced. You pay that renewal fee to TechSoup. So what you can do is when you request the donated version of that product, you're going to need to migrate your data from your existing QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks account over to your new donated one. Unfortunately, Intuit's looked into this for years and cannot figure out how to apply the nonprofit billing to an existing account. So if you have one you got from the retail market, you're not going to be able to apply it to that. And then say you get a QuickBooks Online account through TechSoup, if you don't renew and you lose that nonprofit billing, there's no reapplying it. You have to start over from scratch, requesting a new one. TechSoup has to reset your allotment. You then have to go over to you have to go back and re-request the product, and then you have to migrate the data again. And it is something we've brought up to Intuit many, many times, but it's a systems issue that they can't quite figure out. So they're not doing it on purpose. We'd love to be able to have it applied. It's just something they haven't been able to make work. So in our TechSoup support articles, we have a whole bunch related to QuickBooks Online. There's how to set it up, there's how to migrate, there's how to configure it for nonprofit use. QuickBooks Online doesn't have a nonprofit version like the desktop products used to. So it is something you do have to configure it to get access to the stuff that allows you to generate reports that support you with filing like your 990. So it's something I really recommend before you request our QuickBooks stuff. I'm putting it into the chat right now. If you just go to that TechSoup support products, you'll see one of the first options is Intuit. But I just put the Intuit URL in there. I recommend reviewing all of that. That should answer all the questions about how do I renew? How do I migrate? How do I upgrade, downgrade? Because we do allow you to go from Plus to Advanced or Advanced to Plus if you change your mind later on. So great place to start for all the folks that are asking QuickBooks Online questions. The other thing I saw with some of our folks are global members. So I do want to call out that there is a place where you can get started. Either on TechSoup.org in the top left corner, you'll see a drop-down option for picking a different country. And then there's also our global site, which I'm grabbing that URL for you right now. That you can pick from the list there too. You do need to register and request offers from your country specific website because a lot of products are geo-locked. So like you can't request it from like the US website and then go permanently use it in the United Kingdom, it would stop working after a while. Like Adobe products are like that and some other ones. So it is important that you make sure that you're contacting the support team for your country, registering with that country, all that good stuff. And then we can get you going because we do serve folks from around the world so long as your country isn't embargoed. So here is the finding your country link. I'm putting that into country. So it's TechSoup.global, and you'll see there's a little landing page. You can pick the country and it'll take you to where you need to go. The Microsoft is another one I've seen popping up here is Microsoft nonprofit accounts. Something to be aware of is that both Microsoft and Google no longer partner with TechSoup to do validations. So if you're trying to get validated as an eligible nonprofit to access Google or to access Microsoft for nonprofits, you have to go register directly with those companies. They're partnered with someone called GoodStack who will run the validation and they won't talk to TechSoup about your validation status. So if you're having trouble figuring out the validation status, you need to go to I recommend Microsoft for nonprofit support, or Google for nonprofit support, just calling out our two biggest ones. They are, of course, separate companies with separate support teams, but you do want to go to the nonprofit support team specifically. I hear that the general support teams aren't trained on nonprofit stuff and they'll kind of just send you wherever they think they can send you. So it is really important to make sure you're going to the nonprofit site and going to the contact us to get going with the support team for nonprofits. Again, the Google information I just mentioned about us not being partnered anymore, and the Microsoft stuff is in our is in our TechSoup support articles. If you just search Google or Microsoft, you'll see stuff pop up. So just something to keep in mind that, lots of articles, lots of information. Microsoft can be really complicated, so I do recommend checking out those articles. We're always improving them, and we do put out some blog posts in our forums about them too. For example, I would say that, you know, accessing your products once they're requested can be crazy. You have to meet a ton of different requirements. And I just put out a blog post about it. So if anyone's asking about their Microsoft requirements to see their products, they want to make sure they're looking at this article. And it is something that we're going to be releasing to, the post, we are going to be releasing it to our support articles sooner than later. Well, we're double checking some other info. And then I see someone asking, I think I saw somewhere we could hire someone to download and migrate through TS. Can you provide me a link? Yes, Lynn, I think that would be the migrating QuickBooks Online article that I put into the chat a couple times. There is a list, it notes that there is underneath support, it does call out that there is a QuickBooks data migration support. So you could access it there. And I'll put the link for the actual support service here in the chat. Support. Support, and then this is the TechSoup support article, just to make sure it's fresh there for you. Okay, both of those are in there for that. Looks like I think we've covered most of the questions. I do see one person asking about our courses, and if they're ADA friendly. I believe they are. Aretha, are you involved with courses at all? Can you speak to
They
courses that
are
are
ADA
available?
friendly. Yes, we made sure of that.
There we go, ADA friendly. And let's see here. There's a lot of different topics in the courses, and they're really useful. I do believe there's some Adobe ones. There's definitely some Microsoft ones on like how to use Excel and things like that. Our courses do have a fee for them. It's very small compared to what you'd pay on the retail market for this kind of training. It's in depth. You could share it with your whole organization. It's a really great tool to use. And what's also cool is that you don't have to be a United States member to access it. You don't even have to be a 501c3 to access our courses. Anybody, individual, all that stuff, like as long as you're, interested in the nonprofit aspect of Adobe or Microsoft or things like that, you're welcome to purchase the course and join us. Let's see, any other open questions? Perfect. Okay, so I think that answers everything. Nick, I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat or our Q&A stuff.
All right, great. Well, with that said, then, thank you everybody for your time and attention today, especially you, Kelly, who fielded a great number of inquiries here. For those folks who are not in the United States, you'll need to go and find the local TechSoup site. And for those of you who are not yet TechSoup members, I hope that today you learned enough about what's available to your nonprofit through TechSoup that you'll initiate that process, become a TechSoup member, start using that catalog, build the digital resilience of your organization, try to find the new tools that can help you deliver on your mission, whatever that is, help your local community, build a better world, and everything else in between. With that, we'll call it a day. Thank you so much.